Salvona, hi. My name is Xenia, and I'm a junior in the college from Seattle, Washington. I'm majoring in government, minoring in sociology and environmental studies, but right now I'm studying abroad in South Africa. Come join me for a day. So my program is with SIT, which is the School for International Training. It is centered in Durban, which is a major city along South Africa's east coast, and the program focus is international relations in the global south. So we take 5 courses, but it's a very different structure than you might have at Georgetown. So the first 2 courses are thematic seminars. Mine are IR in the Global South and then Continental Geopolitics and South-South Relations. These 2 courses have very similar content, so they blur together. Then we also take a language course, which is isiZulu. And then we do a research methods class. And that class is to help us prepare for the ISP period, which is our final class. So the ISP is either an internship with a local organization or an independent study project. Georgetown requires that we do the independent study project. So for the final month of the program, I'll be conducting research, doing interviews, analyzing data, and writing a 40 to 50 page paper on a topic of my choosing. Yeah, so there are 9 of us total in this program. There's actually another girl from Georgetown, and then the rest of the group go to schools from across the country. And it's been super great getting to know everyone. We have a super awesome group. We spend a lot of time together, so we got super close super fast. But I've made some amazing friends. One of the great things about SIT is that because of the experiential nature of the program, we get to do a lot of traveling. We started off in Johannesburg, which was a really interesting city. We got to see a lot of cool things there. And we're going to end in Cape Town, which will hopefully be really interesting. We spent a week in Mozambique, which is fascinating. They have some beautiful beaches. It was really interesting to see a different culture there and get to experience that. This upcoming weekend we're going to Lesotho in the Drakensberg Mountain, so we're hoping to do some hiking there. And then otherwise, it's a little bit tough to do independent travel just given the intensive nature of the program and the fact that we're in Southern Africa, but we have some trips in the works. We've had a lot of very unique experiences and the chance to speak with a lot of very powerful people and visit a lot of interesting organizations. Just yesterday, we visited the residence of the U.S. Consulate General here in Durban, and we got to talk with her. We had an interesting discussion. But I would say my favorite excursion was probably our trip to the U.S. Embassy in Mozambique. We got to talk with a panel of like 12 diplomats for 2 hours, and we talked about U.S. foreign policy, the current state of affairs in Mozambique, and just like joining the foreign service. It was just a super cool experience and something that not a lot of people get to experience. So our main accommodation is in homestays. Right now, we're still in our first homestay, which lasts for about 5 weeks. This one is with a Zulu family in a Black African township on the outskirts of Durban. It's been super interesting to get to know the family, get to try food, explore the neighborhood. Everyone is super welcoming here, and it's just such a great atmosphere to live in. But next week, we'll be moving on to our second homestay, which will be in an Indian township. And then the following week, we'll be going to our final homestay, which is or in a rural village with Zulu-speaking families. So that'll be a very different experience, very interesting. And then after that, the ISP period will start, and we'll be staying in apartments with other SIT students. We'll get a little bit more freedom. But throughout the program, we've also stayed in hotels, hostels. There's a lot of variety.